Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upashama Prakarana, and presently we are in section 78, and it's dealing with the highest goal of life that will imply complete negation of the mental process. All that you experience from the state of bondage to the state of release, all is enacted by your chitta, the unconscious. Unconscious, but it implies all that it contains, the whole mindset. That's chitta. And all that you have experienced is vrittis of the chitta, thought waves. All your experiences are projections, and they are not absolutely continuous. Even while you are thinking about a problem, your problem is broken up frame after frame. But the mind puts all of them together. In cinema show, all you are watching is not continuous projection, but frame after frame. In between the frames, there is a little split where there is nothing but the screen. You are worrying about it, suddenly you forget about what were you worrying about. Now it hides the worry. So that subtle slip you can see always. But how to make that more predominating in your mental movement? That is the revelation of the screen. Even while the projection goes on, when projection goes on, in between the projections, screen shines forth. But it is such a momentary, such a split of a second that it doesn't have any impact on your mind. How to lead your mind? Now the whole sadhana movement is to prepare your whole mental set. And again, just to give you a repeat, you go through mala, vikshepa and avarana. Allowing the mala, gross impurities, which are like short-circuited energies, they have to be sublimated, they have to be corrected. So anger, greed, hate, if that goes on, you can't Allow your attention to come to in between the frames. Your whole focus is in the world. Your cause of misery is somewhere in the past. The solution is somewhere in the future. And you have put so many ducks in a row. We're big duck mother. Mala is removed by karma yoga. How to bring a spiritual touch in every action you do. And that's a big art. Everything that you do, you eat, you deal with people around you, you walk, whatever you do, there is a subtle purpose behind it. So if that purpose is highlighted, then all that you are doing is aradhana of God. All that you are doing is like adoring God. Even if you are washing your teeth. And what shines in your teeth? The Ganesha's teeth, not yours. And your entire body is Devalaya, a divine temple. And every movement that we are making is in a divine temple. So that said quickly, but that ideal has to be brought into your life with great patience, persistence, faith. So all that begins to operate without your worrying about it. If you begin your sadhana beginning with focusing your attention to 4 aspects of yoga. All 4 aspects have to progress because they are all in harmony. You can't separate. So karma yoga is focused on removing malas. Next is known as Upasana. Upasana marg turns into 2 yogas. Bhakti yoga and Dhyana yoga. Bhakti is devotional movement. And Dhyana, Bhakti is allowing your emotions, your feelings. Feelings are the deeper level of your personality. Thinking is only in your head. The feeling touches your heart. It overpowers your entire nervous system. So feeling is in a different level. That feeling aspect is profoundly dealt with by pursuing the path of bhakti. Whom are you really loving? You are loving God. So every act of your feeling, allow a little touch of God. You are inspired by seeing your baby smile. Be inspired. But try to see in that smile there is a spark of God's presence, God's love. Now therefore, deal with your baby in such a way that the growth of the baby is not hampered by your moha. Allow the God in the baby shine. I'm giving a very quick way of saying, but it has the whole subtle secret behind how to allow humanity within yourself to progress by recognizing loving God in each other, beginning with your own self. So that whole project is Bhakti movement. Dhyana movement, your will. Your mind will have always shaking situation. Two states of your personality. One is called avastha, shakes. But don't worry about shake. The shaking will not break you. But only be careful. Don't highlight the shaking movement in such a way that you don't go into your root level. So let the shaking go on and handle the shaking according to your practical reality. You are facing practical reality. If you have a headache, treat the headache. If you have any disease, try to work for it. Balance your body by pranayama. Go through your various yogic disciplines. Whatever help you, you continue doing that. So, that royal movement, Raj Yoga, that's called Dhyana movement, that allows your will, the will to attain enlightenment. That will does not fill by all these problems. Problems will be there, but in a deeper level within your own personality. Sometimes you don't know it. But if you have never done a lot of sadhana, it is operating automatically in a mystic way. So that's called Dhyana movement. And of course, the ultimate goal is Jnana, absolute revelation. But before you get ultimate goal, you follow the path of Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the whole process of listening, reflection, and all that. All these four, when they are integrated, we say integrated, don't to understand all the four, blend together. You cannot separate any one of them. Though in your mind you may highlight any one of the four. You may consider yourself, you will be focused on karma yoga only, or focus on bhakti, or jnana. You may do that. But internally be mature, not be a kid. Understand all the four go together. O Rama, by meditating upon the ether of the heart for a long time, a yogi destroys the subtle desires of the mind and thus brings about the control of mind as well as the pranas. Ether of the heart, that becomes a highly mystical terminology. In the early stage, you meditate and allow your mind to have a visualization that deep down your heart is like the sky. So, your heart will not be damaged, will not be touched, will not be shaken. You are possessing that type of heart. You are not possessing, that's your internal reality, which you have forgotten through your conditioned mind. Your conditioned mind has brought to you a limited concept of the heart that is constantly shaking. But that's not your real heart. So, allowing your mind first to have affirmation of that you are focusing your attention, you are asserting I am the Akasha. I am like the ether. And if that type of affirmation becomes deep and continues to deepen, then malas and vikshepas, impurities and distractions, impurities become corrected, sublimated. Distractions become corrected. And finally, avarana, veiling, begins to lift. For easy understanding, always follow the simile of the mirror. As if your project is to see your face in the mirror of your mind. And the mirror has three problems. First state, your mirror has dust over it. That's called mala. So if mala is there, you can't even see your face. It's completely distorted. So you remove impurities, wipe the mala. When you begin to wipe, you can't believe what you are seeing. You always thought you are just the body. But now you have such potentiality that you can't compare with anybody in the world. You begin to develop a subtler identity of your personality, not body. You are more spirit revealing itself to a purified mind. So that, when that happens, it is just like your hand is shaking the mirror. The shaking movement is stopped by upasana, bhakti, devotion, and meditation. And then final state, intuitive vision, as if your first state of your vision is intellectual vision, putting in the simile of the mirror. Now mala removed, vikshepa removed, and what you look into it, you can't believe it. Your head bends down with a jerk, and your hairs fall right over your eyes. I'm just wittily describing the role of avarana. That's called avarana, veiling the vision. But that veiling of the vision is all requires is correcting your neck, raise your head. In other words, it just requires a deepening of your understanding. As understanding I am Brahman, that goes from the clutches of intellect, it becomes intuitional. Then veiling has been removed. Now we have seen yourself through the mirror of your mind. And that was the purpose of the mirror. The moment you have seen your full face, the mirror vanishes. And all that happens is in your heart. Sri Rama asked, O sage, what's the nature of the heart? Does the heart refer to the physical heart? Does it refer to mind or to the self? Now, in a state of ignorance, heart relates to, whenever a person thinks of the heart, first, attention, physical heart. Second, sentimental heart. The third heart is the mystic heart. Mystic heart is the very source of your entire personality. Put it in a very simple way to understand. You are watching a cinema show. So many heart-based experiences are going on in the show. But what's the heart of all the relative heart expressed through the show? The real heart is the screen. The reality of real heart is Brahman, in brief. That's your heart. Hirtayam. That Brahman is your very heart. Sage Vasishtha explained, O Rama, living beings are endowed with two types of heart. One is to be negated and the other to be accepted. The heart that refers to the body and mind. Here it is given only in two categories. But the first category has again two aspects. Heart of the body and a heart that relates to your mental state, sentiments. All that's called heart. In Kundalini Yoga, you call the heart Anahat Chakra. But that Anahat Chakra is not the heart. Because when you have attained illumination in your heart, you don't go any further. You have attained the highest. But in Kundalini process, your heart chakra has opened to lead you to the throat chakra. From throat chakra to Agnya chakra. So, that mention of the heart as anahata is a relative aspect of the heart, not the real. The real heart, in Kundalini language, will be Sahasrara chakra, where you attain climax of your spiritual movement. The Atman is the heart of all that exists. Atman, Brahman. Since the Atman abides in the heart, again that's an allegorical term, heart referring to in sadhana stage, your mental process, deep in your mental process, that's where you begin to recognize the presence of the heart. And in that deep state of your mind, you begin to invoke the presence of God, enshrine God in the temple of your heart. When we make that statement, it's a figurative statement. We are bringing God in a base which is characterized by your profound feelings. And while meditating God in your mental heart, allow the deeper understanding to gradually unfold. The understanding that who is shining in your heart, that who is delighting your heart, that is Brahman, the Absolute, the heart of the heart. All the worlds abide in the heart, that Brahman being the heart. All that you experience, the reality behind all is Brahman, the heart. Absolute love and absolute consciousness, both are one and the same. It is a boundless treasure of all that is good and beautiful. This is indeed the real heart in a person, not the physical organ consisting of flesh and blood. By meditating upon this heart, the yogi brings about the cessation of pranas as well as the chitta. The two aspects of control, controlling the prana and controlling the chitta, both are accomplished by meditating upon the heart. And at this stage, I am turning your attention to a glorious quotation from the scriptures. The glory of Brahma Vichar. It's Brahma Vichar that allows you to have the revelation of the heart, which is the revelation of Brahman. Snatam tena samasta tirtha salile sarvapidattavani yajnanam chakritam sahasrayutam devascha sampujita sansaracha samudhrita swapitara sarvasya pujyo yasau yasya brahma vicharane kshanamapi praptam hidairyam manah. Whoever focuses his mind on Brahman, even for a moment, thereby he has as if taken a holy bath in all the sacred rivers, not in one river, all the rivers. He has given in charity the entire earth, performed 1,000 yajnas, worshipped 1,000 gods, liberated all his forefathers, and has become the supreme object of adoration for all. That's your ultimate goal, Brahma Vichar. And that's your real heart. If you enter, have the revelation of the heart, even for a moment, as if you have gone and visited all the sacred places and taken plunge in sacred waters, as if you were given away in charity all the whole world. You have pleased countless gods, and all you can imagine in the process of meditation and samadhi, you have accomplished all. So that is the ultimate highlight in your sadhana, Brahma Vichar. And in order to do that, Shama has to become highlighted. How to bring serenity in your mind. Lower samadhis cause mental distractions by giving rise to various psychic powers. As you go through lower samadhis, you develop amazing revelation of your inner strength. But that strength in the beginning relates to psychic powers. And psychic powers, they become great distractions. Because psychic powers, they can be useful if they are helping you to sustain your sadhana and go on advancing. But if psychic powers bring to your mind, firstly, an illusion that you have attained all that is to be attained, you can fly. Who else can fly? You are the greatest. But you don't realize even birds fly. They are not greatest at all. So psychic powers become a great source of distraction and obstruction. O Rama, take recourse to constant abhyasa in order to attain success in yoga. Satu dirghakal nairantarya satkar sevito. These are the characteristics of abhyasa. Sustained practice. Firstly, don't put a limit. That I will do this sadhana for Brahma Vichar for 15 days. Intense. If it doesn't happen, finish. Goodbye. Not so. There is no limit of time. Since you are born, you never limit the time. How long can I go on eating? No matter how much you eat, you still get hungry. But you never condemn eating process. See, if that is so, the highest nourishment comes by Brahma Vichar. How can that bring in your mind a sense of limiting your sadhana by a period of time? Dirghakal, nairantarya, another point, it should have a rhythmic daily movement. You may not have exactly the same sadhana, but your effort must be, to the extent you can do every day, follow your pattern of sadhana. And while you are doing, do not bring in your mind and end up keeping frustration in your mind that all the sadhana have you wasted my time? I would have at least visited all the hotels, enjoyed all the wonderful rasgullas and dishes of waffles. So that should not be. Rather, satkar sevito. A deep, faith-based fulfillment, that no matter how it has gone on, I have attended and I surrender to God. And it will not go in vain. So when these points enter, your abhyasa becomes effective, dynamic. And that's the key to success in yoga. May you thus sport in the self, abide in the self, and be free of all sorrows. Associated with the vasanas, the mind accepts the idea of the body, and through identification with the body, it accepts the idea of the pranas. When the mind becomes free of vasanas, it accepts the reality of Brahman and becomes liberated. The role of vasana. Vasanas do not allow you to have a revelation of who am I. Vasanas sustain your jiva status. Just like water in a jar sustains reflected sun. The sun's reflection continues as long as there is water there. And even if water becomes little vaporized, still there is appearance of this soul dependent on the vasanas. So if the soul is dependent on the vasanas, now there arises body identity. I am the physical body. Come to next step, prana identity. I am the pranas. Physical body. The another layer is pranas. Without pranas, your body cannot be there. And pranas will not have their function if mind is not there. So you go into layers. All the identity, your body, your pranamaya kosha, prana, your manomaya kosha, your mind, your vijnanamaya kosha, intellect, ego blended together, and your anandamaya kosha, where chitta, unconscious, dominates. And these five sheaths come under the three bodies. Physical body is annamaya kosha, food sheath. Subtle body is three sheaths together, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya. And the final sheath is the karan sharir, the causal body, which has only one sheath, anandamaya kosha. Behind all that, the real I am is Brahman. All these sheaths and three bodies, they are in the realm of Maya. They are not real. When the spirit in a person is freed of the projections of the mind, the soul is constantly dependent on the projections of the mind, vrittis of the mind. All that you understand about yourself depends upon what your mind conveys to you. But the real I am is not what mind brings out about your identity. It's where mind dissolves, and that's the heart, and that's Brahman. So when the spirit of in a person is freed of the projections of the mind, it attains its transcendental nature, which is beyond human imaginations. All mental way of describing it, all words that mind can use are transcended. He attains that from which this world has proceeded, by which the world is sustained, and which is the reality behind all names and forms. This is the formula, mantra that spiritual aspirant works upon. Who is Brahman? And this is the definition. That from which this world has proceeded, by which the world is sustained, into which the entire world dissolves. That is Brahman. And that's what you are. And that realization is Jivan Mukti. Such a sage is called Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated in life. O Rama, he from whose heart all desires for the objects of the world have disappeared. Not that this heart, which is Brahman, there is no role of desires. All desires are vanished. In allegorical terms described, param tripti, supreme fulfillment. Another way of description, nirankusha tripti. Satisfaction that has no restriction. In life, you have many moments of satisfaction. But satisfaction has a limitation. You ride an elephant, and when you ride, you old style rider, you to control the elephant by some type of a sharp edged nail, ankush. So when you ride your elephant of success in this world, you need to have that control. And that control pinches. So that's called, in other words, all human satisfaction is the basis of pain, sorrow, ankush. But the satisfaction that you attain by realizing the self, that nirvana, all desires move away. Nirankush. There is no restriction in that satisfaction. That satisfaction is eternal, absolute. Param tripti, supreme contentment. And that's the heart. O Rama, he from whose heart all desires for the objects of the world have disappeared, and all likes and dislikes have fled. He is the best among all. He is indeed the very embodiment of Lord Narayana. Now the glory of that state is described. That's the goal of life. And you have rehearsal of the goal in a very simple way each time you sleep. All the desires that you are working with in your daily life go away. Time itself slips away from you. No past, no future. No relatives, no near and dear ones. All move away, but not a drop of negative feeling enter your heart. Behind that lies the big truth. All this do not change your internal essential nature. All that you go through the world. Intrinsically, you remain ever the same. And that intrinsic revelation transcends all the desires, all the world of ego, all that you imagine about past, present, and future. The entire drama of the world, the entire Google system of your chitta that bring about world within world and countless world systems, all that vanish. And if you have come to that state, you are Lord Narayana. So all the great scriptures talking about Rama attaining Rama Rajya, it relates to every soul. A soul realizing who am I is same as Krishna, same as Rama, same as Buddha, same as Brahman. And having attained liberation, the soul does not go somewhere in Goloka and somewhere in different lokas. Any description of that is highly allegorical. The soul is just Brahman, the absolute. still easier understanding, always remember, all souls are reflected suns. Same sun in thousands and millions of things, reflecting in different ways. When you look at those reflections, your eyes become filled with tears. Heart becomes agitated. What has happened to all these? But nothing has happened to the soul. Each reflected sun is same as the sun. And that's the declaration of the Vedas, the final conch blowing of the revealing the highest truth. Now crunch upon it. And with this I will conclude. Om. And my prayer, may divine grace, our karunamaya ras, the nectar of divine compassion, the miracle of grace over all who are suffering, and may all souls come to the highest discovery, sarve bhavantu sukhina. Highest discovery, aham brahmasmi. May you all be led to the heart of heart. And that fulfills my heart. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat Sat.